4 cheeses you must eat, and 4 you should never touch if you're over 60. Did you know that over 85% of adults over 60 still eat cheese at least twice a week? But nearly every senior is making one mistake in the cheese aisle that could cut years off their life. Yet the solution is so simple. Almost 99% of seniors have no idea they're eating cheeses that could quietly double their heart attack risk and slash their chance of hitting 80 by 40%. Shocking, right? The cheese section at the supermarket definitely looks innocent, but the truth is, it hides more secrets than most of us realize. In this video, we will reveal the 4 cheeses you must add to your plate and the 4 you need to kick out for good if you're over 60. The scariest part? The #1 worst cheese could skyrocket your stroke risk by a staggering 80%. And you've probably eaten it this week without a second thought. These aren't rumors. This is cold, hard science that most people never hear. Let me tell you why aged Gouda is like a superfood disguised as a delicious cheese. When Gouda ages for at least 18 months, something magical happens at the molecular level that transforms it from a simple dairy product into a nutritional powerhouse. During the aging process, proteins break down into smaller, more digestible compounds called peptides, which your body can absorb much more easily than the proteins in fresh cheeses. This is especially important as we get older because our digestive systems become less efficient at breaking down complex proteins. But here's where it gets really interesting. Aged Gouda contains vitamin K2, which is a nutrient that most people have never even heard of, but that could literally save your life. Vitamin K2 in aged Gouda works like a traffic director for calcium in your body. Instead of letting calcium accumulate in your arteries where it causes dangerous plaque buildup, K2 escorts it to your bones where it belongs. Japanese studies have shown that people with higher K2 intake have up to 50% less arterial calcification and significantly stronger bones. 1 ounce of aged Gouda provides about 75 micrograms of K2, which is more than most people get in an entire week. Real Parmigiano Reggiano from Italy isn't just cheese. It's basically an edible multivitamin that happens to taste incredible. This isn't the stuff in the green can at the grocery store, which is often filled with cellulose and preservatives. Authentic Parmesan is made using methods that haven't changed for nearly 900 years. And this traditional process creates a cheese with an almost unbelievable nutritional profile. Just 1 ounce contains about 10 grams of protein. But it's the quality of this protein that's remarkable. The 32-month aging process breaks down the proteins so thoroughly that they're essentially pre-digested, meaning even people with sensitive stomachs can usually handle it without any problems. The calcium content in Parmigiano Reggiano is off the charts, about 330 milligrams per ounce, which is more than a glass of milk. But unlike milk, the calcium in this cheese comes packaged with the perfect ratio of phosphorus and magnesium for optimal absorption. Italian researchers have found that the bioavailability of calcium from Parmigiano Reggiano is nearly 100%, compared to only about 30% from calcium supplements. Before you worry about the word raw, let me explain why properly aged raw cheddar from grass-fed cows is one of the healthiest foods you can eat. When cheddar is made from raw milk and aged for at least 60 days, which is required by law in many countries, any potentially harmful bacteria are eliminated, while the beneficial enzymes and bacteria remain intact. These enzymes, which are destroyed by pasteurization, help your body digest the cheese and absorb its nutrients. Grass-fed raw cheddar contains up to 500% more CLA than conventional cheddar, along with significantly higher levels of omega-3 fatty acids, creating an anti-inflammatory powerhouse that fights disease at the cellular level. The vitamin content of grass-fed raw cheddar reads like a pharmacy shelf, It's loaded with vitamin A in its most bioavailable form, retinol, which supports everything from vision to immune function. Here's why authentic Swiss Gruyère deserves the top spot on this list. It's the most complete package of nutrition, digestibility, and health benefits you can find in any cheese. Real Gruyère from Switzerland must be made from raw milk from cows that graze on alpine meadows. This creates a cheese with a unique nutritional profile that scientists are still discovering benefits from. The propionic bacteria used in making Gruyère produce propionic acid during aging, which is a compound that research shows can reduce inflammation, lower cholesterol, and even help prevent certain types of cancer. These same bacteria create the characteristic holes in Swiss cheese and produce vitamin B12 in amounts that surpass almost any other food. Gruyère contains the highest levels of glutathione precursors of any cheese. These are compounds that help your body produce its master antioxidant. Now let's turn to the dark side of the cheese aisle. Those individually wrapped cheese slices might be convenient, but they're about as far from real cheese as you can get while still legally calling it a dairy product. These processed nightmares typically contain less than 50% actual cheese, with the rest being a cocktail of emulsifiers, preservatives, artificial colors, and sodium phosphates that spell disaster for your health. The amount of sodium in just 2 slices can exceed 600 milligrams, which is more than a quarter of your daily limit. And it comes in the form of sodium phosphate, which research shows is far more harmful than regular salt. This type of sodium has been linked to accelerated aging, kidney damage, and increased cardiovascular disease risk. Those shelf-stable cheese spreads that don't require refrigeration until opened should set off major alarm bells in your head. These products are cheese in name only, often containing more modified food starch, oils, and chemicals than actual dairy. The processing required to make cheese spreadable and shelf-stable for months or even years destroys any nutritional value while adding a host of harmful ingredients. Most cheese spreads contain partially hydrogenated oils, a source of artificial trans fats that have been so clearly linked to heart disease that many countries have banned them entirely. The sodium content in cheese spreads is absolutely astronomical, often exceeding 500 milligrams per 2 tablespoon serving, and most people use far more than that. This might surprise you, but pre-shredded cheese is one of the worst cheese choices you can make, and it has nothing to do with laziness and everything to do with what they add to keep those shreds from clumping together. The anti-caking agents used, typically cellulose, wood pulp, or potato starch, can make up to 4% of the product's weight. While cellulose isn't toxic per se, it's completely indigestible and can cause digestive issues, especially in people with sensitive stomachs or conditions like IBS. More concerning is that these additives prevent the cheese from melting properly and interfere with nutrient absorption by coating the cheese particles. Blue cheese gets its distinctive appearance and flavor from Penicillium roqueforti, which is a type of mold that's intentionally added during the cheese-making process. While this might be safe for many people, what most don't realize is that blue cheese contains extraordinarily high levels of tyramine, a compound that can trigger severe migraines and dangerously spike blood pressure in susceptible individuals. If you're taking MAO inhibitors for depression or Parkinson's disease, eating blue cheese could literally cause a hypertensive crisis that lands you in the emergency room. The mold in blue cheese produces compounds called mycotoxins, and while the levels are generally considered safe for occasional consumption, regular intake of these toxins can accumulate in your body and potentially cause problems. So, there you have it. 4 cheeses that can help you live longer, stay stronger, and protect your heart and mind, and 4 that could be quietly sabotaging your health from the inside out. If you're over 60, making the right choices at the cheese counter could be the difference between a vibrant, independent future and a lifetime of unnecessary health risks. The science is clear, the evidence is real, and now you have the knowledge to make every meal work for you, not against you. This content is for informational purposes only and should not be considered medical advice. The health claims and statistics presented have not been evaluated by medical professionals or regulatory agencies. Individual dietary needs vary greatly, especially for those over 60 who may have existing health conditions or take medications. Before making significant dietary changes or eliminating foods from your diet, please consult with your healthcare provider, registered dietitian, or other qualified medical professional who can provide personalized advice based on your specific health status and medical history.